Good morning, everybody. Taylor here with y'all 106.7. Today, I'm joined by country music singer, songwriter, and reality TV star, Mr. Jon Brennan. Welcome to y'all.
Thanks for having me.
How are we feeling?
I'm feeling great. This is a blessing to be here because I listen to this station. I love the music that you play. So I'm like fangirling out a little bit being here.
Wow. Well,
I'm
thank
honored.
you. We are honored. And we're fangirling over you. I mean, you're like the OG reality TV star. You were on the very first season of The Real World on MTV, right?
Season 2, actually.
Season 2.
So there are 7 reality stars before me, and they are the 7 that were on season 1 of The Real World MTV in New York. And it was 1992, very experimental. And they said, wow, that worked. Let's go more diverse. You know, Garth Brooks and Travis Tritt and Alan Jackson had just, exploded. And they said, we need a country singer. So they said, go to Nashville, find a country singer for our Los Angeles season. And I was 18-year-old freshman at Belmont University. And they said, you want to be on MTV? And I said, not really, because I'm there on Music Row. You know, my dreams are to be making music a block away. So why would I go to Los Angeles to be on a network that doesn't play my genre of music? And then long story short, they said, you're perfect. You're stubborn. You're country, you wear a cow person hat. And, long story short, I thought, 6 months in Venice Beach on television would be a good idea.
Heck yeah. And you're a Kentucky boy, right? You grew up in Kentucky.
I'm from Owensboro, Kentucky.
So we got a small town Southern boy flown out to California in a house with 6 strangers.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Well, that was the story, the 22 episodes that we did really revolved around how is Jon going to respond to the California lifestyle, these diverse people, because they were living there. I was really the only one that was, taken out of my environment and dumped into the Los Angeles, culture shock. Everybody else maybe wasn't from there, but they had existing lives there. So, I mean, I hate to say I was the main character of my show, but every episode was like, how's Jon going to respond to this? And
but you were totally the main character.
Well, that's why I say I'm the 8th reality star ever, because there were 7 on season 2 or season 1, and then honestly, the whole season 2 was about me and what was going to happen.
It started just a whole decade longer of season after season. I mean, America just fell in love with that kind of like layout of a TV show. And how much of it was scripted and how much of it was completely authentic?
It was full of integrity back then. 3 years ago, they put us back in the same house on for Paramount Plus to do a homecoming. And it was way different. This time it was, Jon, you're going to sit here, and now's a good time for Beth to bring this up. And I'm like, what? 31 years ago, they turned the cameras on, and they followed you, and they captured the conversation if they could. And it was a way different situation than reality TV has turned in now. I watch reality shows now, flip through them, and I'm like, that's not real. No one says that. No one wears that. No one does that. And it's way more scripted now. I don't know. They say reality TV, and then the next word is unscripted. And because when I came back to Nashville, I just had told all the record companies, I'd just been on this MTV show. And they said, what kind of show is it? And I said, I don't know. It's a reality show. And everybody said, what's a reality show? We hadn't even come up with that term yet.
Oh, yeah.
So
whole new territory.
So weird. So Kim Kardashian used to watch us, and that's when she decided she wanted to be whatever it is that she is. So you're welcome, America.
Yeah, she copied you. I mean, so that's what was it like going out and people are starting to recognize you? Like, hey, you're that country cowboy from Real World. What was that like?
Everywhere I went. I mean, there wasn't really social media back in the mid '90s, but if there had been, I would have been the biggest TikTok star. I mean, it was instant fame. It was, you're the guy from The Real World. You're Jon, which was kind of cool. I wanted to be Jon. I didn't want to be the guy from The Real World. I didn't want to be an actor. I was like, hey. And now when I meet people, cool people, celebrities that, watch us on, they're like, I feel like I grew up with you. I'm like, well.
No, they literally did.
Yeah, we kind of did, because when you would turn on MTV in the 90s, there was a 90% chance that The Real World was on, much like Ridiculous is on now. Ridiculousness. And then most of the time it was Our Season. And if you were watching Our Season, it was usually my 18-year-old self up there going, what are you doing? Why are you doing that?
That's so fun. And what an experience. You'll never forget that. And it kind of catapulted you into your country music career as well.
Yeah, in a strange way. I came back to Nashville and, because I've always wanted to be a country music singer since I was like 10. And so, everybody, they always say, oh, so you were on The Real World and now you want to be a country singer. I'm like, no, I got put on The Real World because I'm a country music singer. And people are like, oh, okay. But in the 90s, I got to play the New York State Fair and the Ohio State Fair, Pennsylvania State Fair, opening for Alabama, who were my heroes, still are. And I got to
play a ton of Alabama. Shout out.
I know you do. I know you do. And that's why I love this channel. You guys are, or station. And I love the music that's being played here. So it's nostalgic, but it's also the best country music that there is. And so I've been a fan. My dad always had on Willie and Waylon. And funny story, Shooter Jennings, who's the son of Jesse and Waylon, contacts me on my Instagram and says, hey, man, I'm a big fan of you on The Real World, and are you going to be part of these comebacks and things? And I said, is this Shooter Jennings, blue check mark? And he said, yeah, man, I'm a big fan. I've been watching you for years. I said, look, I was living in Alabama at the time, but I said, I'm coming to Nashville. We're going to hang out. We got to be friends. I got to tell you something. I sing country music because my dad loved your father's music. And he said, well, we're friends. Let's, but I don't live in Nashville anymore. I live in Los Angeles. I'm like, oh, well, I'm never coming to Los Angeles. And then, they called me to do a reunion show, and I called Shooter. I said, man, I really don't want to fly with my really nice guitar because they don't treat them well. Any chance I could borrow a guitar while I'm on the reunion show from you? And he goes, yeah, come by and get it. So I did, and he gave me his dad's acoustic to play on MTV, and I'm like, wow, dude.
Wow. Just playing Waylon's guitar.
Yeah, just so
casual.
Weird. Shooter, he's not like I thought he would be because he looks kind of rough around the edges. Nicest guy in the whole wide world. I mean, honestly.
Wow.
And so we're good friends, and he's a Grammy Award-winning producer, and we're trying to find songs we can go in the studio and do. Because I think it'd be cool to record songs with a Grammy Award-winning producer.
That would be pretty incredible. And what a full circle moment for you, too.
Yeah.
You grew up listening with your dad, and then both of you get together, and you get to play his guitar.
Yeah, just so weird. And Garth Brooks, I've met many times. Tim McGraw. First time I met Tim McGraw, I was staring at him because he was a big star, and I was a young kid, and I was a fan. And he just motioned for me to come over, and I thought, well, he's going to tell me quit staring at him. And he goes, hey, did I see you on TV? I'm like, yeah, I'm a big fan of you. I got your first album. He goes, the first album? You were the one, huh? But he, just so
Tim
funny.
McGraw knows who I am. I'm done. I can die happy. I'm good.
This was a long time ago. I don't know if he still does, but it's just so weird. The power of television and MTV being, the culture icon that it was. And I always tell young people nowadays, I was the TikTok. I was the cool TikToker, because MTV was that influential, probably more so, really.
Yeah. And you're putting out new music. And is that are you going the Christian music route? Is it country Christian? It's kind of like a new genre.
I mean, I grew up in church, and I've actually been leading music in churches for the last 20 years while I've been, trying to regroup and hit Nashville again. But the song that I'm going to put out very soon is called "Tell Me That There Ain't a God," and it's about two people on an airplane that end up talking about faith, not meaning to, just strangers. But to me, that's what country music is, just grassroots, down-home country things, and God is one of those. And so not really intentional Christian. Honestly, my goals are to be on the Grand Ole Opry. My goals are to be back out there opening for Alabama. My goals are to be on Y'all 106.7. My goals are pretty much entrenched in country music.
We're marking them off the list. We got Y'all 106.7 today, and you've already played the Opry. Did you play it with John Conley?
Yeah, so I recorded a John Conley song. This is where I come from musically. He had a 1984 song called "I'm Only In It for the Love." And it was a #1 song. I didn't realize who wrote it. Kix Brooks, who I'm a huge Brooks and Dunn fan, co-wrote the song, and with Rafe Van Hoy and Deborah Allen. And I didn't realize who the writers were until I had recorded it, and I'm filling out all the paperwork, right? And I had opened for John Conley in my hometown in Owensboro, Kentucky. And, when you open for people, the big stars really don't see your show. But anyway, he remembered my name, and I got to remind him, hey, I opened for you once. And he heard my version of his song, and he liked it. And somebody that played the song for him said, hey, this guy's dying to sing this with you on the Opry. And he said, will you tell him to come on Friday? And this was a Tuesday. So I was living in Alabama. I had to go to Lexington, Kentucky, pick up my mom because my dad's in heaven, and my mom was not going to miss me.
Got to have mama there.
Yeah, at the Opry. And John Conley was so gracious, and we were back in the dressing room. I said, hey, do you think they'll let me stand in the circle? And I didn't know who they were. I just, thought, how's this work? And he said, I'll tell you what, I'll put your mic stand in the circle, and I'll step out, and you just stand there and sing. And he was so kind and gracious, and bless him, he doesn't really. He doesn't know I was on The Real World, I don't think, but he called me out and they gave me a golf clap because, Jon Conley said, "Welcome, Jon Brennan." And then he said, "Jon, why don't you tell them who you are? Because I don't think they know." And what he was really saying is, because I don't have a clue.
Yeah.
And I said, well, before there was Survivor and the Kardashians, there was me on MTV's Real World. And just all over the Opera House, you could almost just hear and feel the crowd going, "Oh, my gosh. It's the kid from The Real World." And so then they gave me a good clap, but it was thrilling, and I got to sing one song with Jon Conley. So I'm hoping to be back, really often at the Opry. So if you're listening, Grand Ole Opry folks,
speak that into existence.
such a iconic and place of reverence for country music. Just an honor. Yeah.
And what a cool moment. I mean, that's not something that happens every day.
Right.
You got to sing on the Opry stage with Jon Conley. That's so cool. And I think it's important to remember to celebrate the wins along the way. You have where you want to be, but look how much you're already doing and so much you've already done. So
I've done a lot. I've jumped out of an airplane on MTV. I've been a missionary in Africa. I've been living in Nashville and seen all the growth here. This place doesn't resemble the old city. I mean, it's just like
we were just talking about that this morning about how much it's grown.
It's good. Yeah. It's great. It's like this doesn't look like the same city from 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of the city, there's always so many fun things to do. And I want to talk about Joe Kelly's Big Damn Music Jam. It's Nashville's new monthly music event. It's completely free. Yeah. And what's really cool about the event that you guys put on is it's new artists, but it's also established artists. So you kind of get, both of those. And like I said, it's free, all ages. And so I would love to know how this idea came about and what your involvement is with it. Because we're going to be there at the next one. Let me just shout that out really quick. It's going to be on September 4th at 3rd and Lindsley. Free show, starts at 7 p.m. Y'all's going to be there. So come hang out with us. But yes, Jon, tell us how this got started.
Well, it got started because Joe Kelly he's the president of CDX Nashville, which distributes music to radio stations. And it used to be on CDs, and now it's a digital download thing that we provide. And I say we because I'm one of Joe's artists. And I said, Joe, I while I'm here pursuing country music, I need a job. So I work there. And so he has a showcase for his record label portion called CDX Records. And for the last two fanfare, I call it fanfare still, CMA Fest weeks, we've showcased the acts down on Broadway. And it was just such a wonderful showcase of his artists that he said, let's do this once a month, and let's just open it up to indie artists that are trying to break in, because it's hard to get your foot in the door and get exposure in this town. And he said, wouldn't it be great to find a venue that would just showcase us once a month, and let's pick 6 acts. And I'm just sitting there going, as an artist, I'm sitting there going, this is awesome. And so we did the first one at 3rd and Lindsley just 3 weeks ago, and our next one is September the 4th. And so it's going to be one Wednesday every month, and some tremendous acts. Billy Joe Jones just had, I think, a hit for 3 weeks in a row on the independent charts. Jordan Rayner, who was on The Voice. Donis Moras, who is a great Texas act with great success. Danny Rose. Herrick, who is a husband-wife team, and they are incredible, and Colton Black out of Texas. So, I mean, these are the 6 that are coming up, and I mean, I guarantee that we're showcasing, some people that are future big stars.
Oh, and it gets bigger and bigger every time.
I'm going to play one again soon.
Oh, we can't wait. We can't wait.
Me too.
Kim Kardashian might even be there. Well, I heard she was coming.
Yeah, you never know who's going to be in Nashville. You're going to have, Beyonce or Post Malone. But, 3rd and Lindsley is such an iconic venue, and the food is really great there. So they don't do a lot of free shows at 3rd and Lindsley. They do a lot of great shows and concerts, but this is free entry. And then, they got great food. Come and stay and eat and drink and have a tremendous, tremendous show. I just feel like that there's future big household names that are going to be playing the Big Damn Music Jam.
And if people want to play, they can go to bigdammusicjam.com, and there's a play button, and you can submit and
play the jam.
Yeah.
And tell us who you are, and then hopefully you'll be selected. But it's going to be incredible. We've had a lot of feedback, and people are loving it.
Yeah. We're so excited. Again, that is September 4th at 3rd and Lindsley. Big Damn Music Jam. And there's more information on our website, y'all1067.com. Mr. Jon, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Thanks so much for filling the airwaves with great country music on Y'all 106.7.
Amen.
Are you amen then?